Hello, my name is Brian, and I built a six-figure business working less than an hour per week. And in today's video, I'll show you how to turn your love for audio engineering into the same kind of income stream. My goal is to give you real proven steps, so if you're serious about turning your passion into profit, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Audio engineering is a great niche to focus on if you're interested in affiliate marketing and if this is a hobby you are passionate about. Audio engineering covers a wide range of stuff to include capturing, shaping, and finishing sound, recording, mixing, and mastering music, podcasts, voiceovers, live sound, and film audio. People get into it through home studios, mobile rigs, and pro facilities using interfaces, mics, plugins, and DAWs. The ideal audience for this is ages 18 to 45, and it skews towards male, but there's an increasingly mixed ratio of females interested in this hobby. This generally includes students, indie artists, podcasters, content creators, and small studio owners. And honestly, this is something I could have benefited from learning about recently because I went through some issues with audio myself on this channel. So if you start a channel related to audio engineering, please let me know in the comments below because it's something I need help with and don't have the time to research on my own. Generally, people in this demographic make somewhere between $40,000 and $150,000 per year, and they spend a lot of money on gear and software, and it adds up pretty quick in cost. The goals for this niche range quite widely. Generally, this is revolving around somebody who's wanting to produce music, run a profitable studio, or produce pro-sounding podcasts and YouTube, like myself. The monetization potential for this is extremely strong because you can promote hardware such as interfaces, mics, and monitors, and software like plugins and DAWs. You can also sell subscriptions, samples, mastering, and hosting, for example. You can sell education like courses and acoustic treatments like sound padding. There are lots of reoccurring and trial to paid motions like plugins, samples, SaaS tools, and high average order values on all of this gear. In today's video, we're going to focus on 5 sub-niches for audio engineering. And if you follow along in the blog article on brianduclo.com, there are 3 affiliate links for each sub-niche for applicable brands to that niche. So if you are interested in one of these niches specifically, you can go to the blog, click on one of those affiliate sign-up pages, sign up for their platform, and you will instantly have access to sell stuff in that niche that you have chosen. Okay, so the first niche we're going to talk about is the home studio. So this would include people like me, people who are YouTubers. We work out of a small office. Oftentimes working at home, we want to have good sounding audio equipment and setups. We don't want to have to mess around with stuff. I personally, as a YouTuber, have spent way too much money on audio equipment. So somebody who would specifically talk to my niche about audio engineering would be vastly beneficial for me. Thankfully, there are a couple of YouTubers who I found who helped out significantly with finding the information I need. But I noticed they aren't doing affiliate marketing the way I teach it. They're doing some of it, but most people on YouTube are vastly missing out on the opportunity to monetize this niche. Now, this is going to include beginners and serious hobbyists who are building bedroom or garage studios. They want plug-and-play setups that sound pro without hiring a mixing engineer. This audience prefers long-form comparison posts, so best under X amount of dollars type videos, roundups, studio build videos, and the best platforms you can use for this niche would be YouTube, blog, Pinterest, and email campaigns. Some video ideas you can do in this niche would include something like a $500 versus $1,500 home studio. Can you hear the difference? And then build an A/B comparison with real takes from each studio setup. Or you could do something like this, which would have really helped me out here recently. Do a 10-second mic shootout at different distances where you compare different microphones at different ranges and see how well they're picking up the audio, whether it's voice or music. Another good one would be the best audio interfaces for beginners, and then the buyer's guide based on the year you're recording the video in. Now, it's important when you're recording content in this niche, you want to position around clarity and control. Make sure your audience can hear what you're actually recording. You can use blind tests and short audio clips to prove the value in the upgrades you are advertising. You want to build trust with transparency, so include pros and cons. Do a good, better, best type comparison table maybe. Video walkthroughs showing how to set everything up, whether you're setting up a microphone, installing the programs onto your computer for that microphone. Maybe you're installing sound paneling and you've learned some tricks on how to install sound paneling correctly. For example, this would be a great one. I put up the sound paneling here, and before I did that, I painted the wall flat black. So if there are any gaps in the sound paneling, they don't show up on camera. So little things like that can be vastly helpful, because the first time I set up a studio with sound padding, I didn't do that. I put the sound padding directly on a white wall. And after it had been sitting there for a little while, there was some expansion and compression in the sound paneling, and you could see white gaps in between the sound panels. So if I had run across a video talking about how to properly install sound paneling, that would have saved me a lot of frustration. All right, the next niche we're going to talk about is mixing and mastering plugins. So this is for creators who are hunting for the faster mixes, louder masters, and signature tones. They buy during sales and they buy bundles a lot of the time, which is a great way to make significant revenue. This audience is going to prefer screen capture tutorials, present giveaways, mix along live streams, things like that. Best platforms are going to include YouTube, a blog, and email. So this is going to be largely an informational-based type of content where people are needing more than just a shallow topic, or they need an actual in-depth coverage of what it is they're trying to solve. Some content ideas you can come up with would be master a track in 10 minutes and only stock versus waves or isotopes, and do a real-time A/B test. You can also do top 5 set and forget mix plugins for beginners, which is something I could have definitely used. You can also do something like best mixing plugins for vocals, and then do a free versus a paid comparison of different plugins. When you're doing content for this niche, you want to trigger speed and certainty. So make sure you include templates, presets, and chains that de-risk the results of this scenario. Show 15 to 30-second audio before and after clips, comparisons, and if you bundle links with your downloadable content, you can spike your click-through rate and conversion. So for example, if you have a certain setup that you have in your studio, you can do a downloadable for free on your website potentially, where you show the microphone, you show the amp or whatever it is you're using. I don't even know the terminology for a lot of this stuff, but I know I went and bought my microphone, and then I had to go buy this converter box to plug it into my computer. So if I'd had somebody actually walking through the process of how to set up this microphone with that converter box into the computer, and then here's the one thing I couldn't find, is how to set it up correctly in the studio that I'm utilizing for actually recording consistently good audio. So if you do something like that, and then bundle that with links to the microphone and the converter, that would drastically help out. I would have happily used somebody's links to purchase the converter box and the microphone if they had also included the information I needed on how to set it up correctly, so that I could actually utilize it instead of spending 4 or 5 hours scrolling through YouTube and websites trying to figure out how to tune this thing correctly. Okay, so the third niche we're going to talk about is sample packs and sound subscriptions. All right, so this audience is going to focus around beat makers, composers, and producers who need constant inspiration and radio-ready sounds. So subscription and micro purchases will help you get reoccurring revenue. This audience is going to prefer beat from scratch videos, sample pack reviews, flip this loop challenges, and they like their content on YouTube, Shorts, TikTok, blog articles, and email campaigns. You can do content focused around, I made a beat using only free splice samples, or 60-second beat challenge using 3 random samples. Or you can do something like best sample packs or cinematic trailers, and then have it be a royalty-free video content piece, where you only talk about stuff that is royalty-free. Or you could do something like the best sample packs for cinematic trailers, and then royalty-free edition, where you cover only programs that are free of royalty. So in this audience, you want to lean into instant gratification and creative momentum. So show your loop, your beat in under a minute, offer MIDI or project files, so you kind of meet them halfway. So when you're creating content for this audience, you want to lean into the instant gratification and creative momentum that this audience is desiring. So show your loop, your beat in under a minute type content. You can offer MIDI or project files to kind of meet them halfway. You can curate packs on a use case type scenario. So depending on the content you're focused on in that topic, in that video piece or the blog article, focus the product links around the stuff in a pre-built scenario based on the specific topic for that video or blog article. You want to make it an easy decision to buy the products you're talking about in your content, but make sure you're also including the pros and the cons when talking about these pre-built packs. Okay, the fourth niche we're going to talk about would be podcast production tools and hosting. So this is another one I could use a lot of help on going forward with this channel and a couple of my other ones. This is going to be for solo creators and small teams who are chasing broadcast quality audio and smooth workflow recording, editing, and publishing consistently. They like how-to tutorials, gear and tech stack breakdowns, guest workflow demos, and they like content on YouTube, blog articles, email, and LinkedIn. Some content you can create for this niche would be the easiest remote podcast setup for under X dollars. Or you can do the best podcast mics for untreated rooms. Or you can do something like kill echo without buying foam. It's an easy hook, and you have DIY hacks that you can include with links to the affiliate products you're using in your own content. You want to hit on consistency and confidence. So especially for somebody like myself, where today I'm going from recording this video to where I'm going to be recording a podcast for a different channel, I need to have confidence that I can bounce from one audio setup on one platform to another room and another audio setup and still get good, consistent audio sound, for example. So stuff like that is drastically helpful, and I would be more than happy to spend money and click on somebody's affiliate links if they were showing me how to solve that problem in a way where I had confidence bouncing around from different situations and different recording styles and have consistent audio. There have been so many times where I created content and had to just trash it because the audio or the video quality was not good enough. So it's important to remember that podcasters value reliability more than the bells and whistles. A lot of us like really simple stuff. We can set it and forget it. You want to show a full episode flow, so where you go from recording to editing to publishing and then the analytics, and show like the improvements that you've made by changing up different stuff in your audio setup. Make sure you're bundling recommendations like your mic, your interface, your host, your editor into one tap-to-buy type stack whenever possible. This is why I talk about setting up a solo.to landing page so you can have all of your equipment and affiliate links categorized out based on the topic of whatever it is you're covering in your content. So something like this would be phenomenal. So show bundles like bundle value 1 or 2 or 3, and then include everything needed in that bundle under one section on your solo.to landing page. Each of those is going to be an affiliate link, and that's an easy way for you to help people buy exactly the setup they need. You get a commission off it, and they solve a big problem. This saves a lot of frustration for them, and people are more than happy to use your links if you're solving the problem for them. Okay, the fifth category we're going to talk about is acoustic treatment and vocal booths. So this is going to cover creators who are struggling with muddy rooms, flutter echo, and boomy lows. Acoustic treatment often converts better than new mics. So that is something I learned the hard way here initially. On my last studio, I had a pretty good setup for sound quality. I moved to this studio, and even though I did acoustic treatments, my sound quality was off. I ended up having to replace my microphone, but some sound treatments probably would have gone a long way in fixing the problem. A microphone ended up being a cheaper solution though. So preferred content format would be before and after room tests, REW measurements, and placement guides. Best platforms are YouTube, blog, Pinterest, where you do a room makeover, for example, and email campaigns. You can do something like $300 room fix, bass traps versus acoustic foam, and then measured results. You can do a clap test before and after. That would be a great TikTok or YouTube short or an IG reel, for example, where you're doing a 4-second comparison to show the improvement on what you did with the product you're talking about. You could do something like small room. Here's the best bass trap thickness, and then include data showing the before and after. So with this audience, you want to lead with proof, frequency response screenshots, decay times, and spoken word before and after to do comparisons. Frame it as the cheapest upgrade per perceived quality. So people want low cost solutions. They want the biggest bang for their buck. So make sure you're satisfying that need for the audience. You want to offer room size templates and panel count calculators to remove decision failure. That is something that I messed up on when I did this, because these panels aren't quite 12 by 12. And so I miscalculated and I wound up having to order another box of panels to finalize the sound padding in this new studio. So having something like that, even though I'm moderately intelligent, would have helped me out, because sometimes I make mistakes. And so having an actual floor plan designed for me would be fantastic. You guys don't have to get too elaborate on that, but some simple stuff to help your audience out. And those of you who are more experienced in this niche would know a lot more than I do about it. But anything you can think of. One thing I've noticed as a content creator is that so often when we specialize in a specific topic, we start forgetting what the basics are. So if somebody is brand new, for example, to audio type stuff, there's a lot of basic information that I don't know that is just common knowledge to somebody who's been doing this for a while. And so relaying that incredibly basic level stuff is drastically helpful for people who are new to that. These are people who are trying to solve a problem. A lot of times they don't have any experience or background or education in this topic. And so making sure you cover the bare bones basics that you just kind of think is kind of ridiculous to cover is drastically helpful, and is going to build a lot of confidence and help a lot of people in your content. So make sure you're including that kind of stuff. Even if it seems mundane and irrelevant to you, it is great for your audience. Once again, if you guys are finding these series helpful, I'm covering 300 hobbies and 1,500 sub niches. So for every hobby, there are 300 of these. I'm covering the 5 sub niches. Each of these also has a blog article associated with it over on brianduclos.com. And in each of these sub niches, there are 3 clickable affiliate platforms you can sign up for to sell products that are applicable to that specific niche. On my website, brianduclos.com, I also have a bunch of free giveaways, and I have books available. I have 5 books out for you guys to start creating content. I focus on teaching video content creation. I have 5 books. I've got 3 free giveaways right now. And I also have a class if you guys are wanting to get a class and do a walkthrough. But I also offer all of this information completely for free on my YouTube channel. So make sure, if you want to start making money with affiliate marketing and no cost, sign up, subscribe on YouTube. Doesn't cost you anything. There's no obligation, and you can literally start making money with nothing but your phone. And I hope to help as many people as possible start reaching the levels of financial success that I have, because there's room for everybody in this market to start doing the same thing. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.